Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hang on, let me just sort this
Echo.
out. Hi.
Echo.
Echo. Oh, wicked.
I think there was some people chatting already. Yes.
Ooh.
Good evening, gentle people.
Gentle people.
Yeah.
Good evening. You don't say gentle.
I don't know.
Like,
Too like maybe we don't say it enough.
what, the people are gentle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got a good bunch here, Tom.
Yeah.
I
And
think they're the people we need.
we've got a
More
Captain
people like
Jack
this.
and a rules lawyer and a Vicky at the moment.
Oh,
They're the
wow.
3 people that are watching. But
Dedicated.
I did have a think about this. It is bonfire night tonight as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
there might be loads of people out watching fireworks instead of watching the fireworks on here.
And some of our American friends will obviously be out voting and doing their thing.
That is also very true.
Celebrating their future president.
Whoever
It may be.
whoever that may be.
Yep. Male or female, we won't know. And honestly, Tom, I don't care.
We don't want to have a massive political discussion right now. Then is that not on the agenda tonight? No, you don't want to.
I mean, we can if you
You
want.
don't want to delve into American politics this evening. No, if I'm taking us,
No,
can we please not?
me.
Because I've heard enough of it over the last few weeks.
Honestly, it's not toxic at all.
No.
We should definitely talk about it because we won't offend anyone by talking.
No,
about
not at all. We wouldn't start a flame war.
Yeah.
Captain Jet says, I've got the best of both worlds and got loads of fireworks going off at the minute. Give you. Oh, well, to be fair, if I could crack the blinds in front of me because I actually got a window out here and I can hear fireworks going off at the moment, but I don't know if I'm going to see much other than a train potentially going past my window now and then.
Yeah, I've got fireworks going off around here as well. As I was going across the garden, I was like, oh my goodness, it sounds like I'm in the Blitz. So, it's all going on.
How melodramatic, Dominic.
Yeah. Well, you never know, Tom.
Always be
If
prepared.
something lights up with flames, I'll be I told you!
Well, I'll be round to yours and we'll dig a shelter underneath your garden because I now that I've just thought about it, your garden's perfect because we could literally just open a hole in your retaining wall and just go straight in underneath your garden.
I thought about this quite a lot, Tom.
Yeah,
I thought it's definitely. I'm trying to think of who that YouTuber is, the one who digs like bunkers.
Colin Furze.
That's the one. And I'm
legend.
Like, oh.
Absolute legend, that guy. What's the rules there says? Oh no. I do want to delve into American politics. How do you rate each other's candidates' fiscal policies? Well, yeah.
Oh, we're avoiding the subject. Don't get lured in.
No. I was going to go with the diplomatic answer. I don't really pay that much attention to it, to be fair.
The rules lawyer. Now, when you baiting him, dragging him into this conversation, all right?
Oh,
we're not talking American politics tonight.
No.
We can talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah. And the aftermath of whatever happens.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be building a bunker for other reasons. It looks like you've got a paintbrush out there, Dom.
I have. Oh, yes. So, welcome everybody to Sit Talking Hobby episode 100.
Don't ask me what I'm doing because it's going to be a very boring answer. Because I just literally came here to sit and talk tonight because I'm a bit tired. So
okay.
So I will ask you what you are painting. I am here to run the stream and talk to you lovely people. But Dom is obviously working on a bit of hobby at the moment. So what are you up to?
I am. I'm doing some Chosen. So I finished one squad of Chosen and I'm on second squad of Chosen. And I think I put on Instagram the other day which my new favourite model is. However, I will tell you now that the Chosen kit is possibly my favourite kit. Because I think it's absolutely brilliant. There's so many little bits in there. And
is that where you're saying that if you got more soon, you wouldn't be that bothered about it?
Oh, keep buying me Chosen. Until a point where I'm like, I can't actually feel it anymore. I'll be like, I'm sorry.
I don't think that's the right answer.
Now I'm a Chaos Space Marine Army.
That's not the right answer. You can always feel more Chosen. Come on.
True.
You can always downgrade them to Legionnaires.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And they could do,
Customized
Tom. They
Legionnaires.
can be legionnaires because you just basically swap a couple of weapons out and you're like done. Problem
There we
solved.
go. So maybe that's your new Legionnaire kit. Is the actual
Chosen kit.
chosen kit? Just buy chosen. Don't worry about Legionnaires. We'll just go with chosen.
I absolutely love these models, Tom, because there's the weapons look cool. They've got all the gear on there, which you normally don't get with
No.
like models these days. So, like this one, for instance, I've got in my hand. You probably can't see him very well.
I can see
He's
that.
got
That's
a
all.
plasma pistol, power fist, and what you could do. Oh, he's got an icon on him as well. You could kind of just trade bits in and out, and it's just they're all different, which I like.
Mm.
Which I'm very passionate about, Tom, because you've got all these extra bits that you can chuck onto other kits.
No, no,
So
that's
this is
cool.
my
I'm very,
kit of
yeah.
2024 is the chosen kit.
Oh, there we go.
It's
I'm. I
lovely.
don't know if I've got a model kit of 2024 yet. Because to be fair, the marine stuff hasn't really had. I like the new Terminators, but they're very. I wouldn't say they were like head leaps and bounds above other kits because they're just better at what they did. Yeah, they're good, and it was more of a proportional and kind of change rather than necessarily being a
Scale change.
amazing kit. It was more that looks right now. That's kind of how I would look at it. So, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've got to kind of look at it and go, has this changed the way it's going to run? Probably not. But then aesthetically for the chosen,
mm,
I'm just like, well, I don't. They had the chosen kit in Dark Vengeance, which was nice, but there was no customizing it really. It was just bog standard snap fit, and I'm like, oh, they're not great. And now this one's just like, bam. You can kit bash it quite nicely as well, which I think is quite good that you've got that element of modeling, which you sometimes lack quite a lot with
yeah.
new kit. But I think with the Terminators, fair enough, you get the same loadout weapons wise. However, the scale's nicer and the detail I think is probably a bit crisper.
Oh, it's just sharper edges, as they say.
Yeah,
Sharper
yeah,
edges. A bit more focus on what they are. That's the nice thing. And rules lawyers they saying that the Chaos kit have been hit after hit. I love the new
yep,
Chaos Space Marine models. Yeah, except for Death Guard, they're a bit busy for my taste. Do you know what the funny thing is? I collect Death Guard, and I think one of the reasons I haven't done a lot of painting or making of them is that I kind of agree with that to a certain degree. They are quite, it's quite a daunting task painting Death Guard because of all the additional bits that they look great, but they are very involved if you want to get into them. I
yeah.
think I think they're quite. I would say they're probably quite an advanced painting scheme. To be fair, so
It's a lot, isn't it? They're very busy.
well, there's always a tentacle. There's always a growth. There's always a cyst.
Yeah,
There's always
the
something,
tooth.
and you have to think about it in a. I think when you're doing a traditional armored marine, it's a very different paint. Yeah, I think your Wordbearer is a good example because you obviously you tend to use traditional kits in your one because that's kind of suits them. I know you mix in the odd special with different types, but you don't you keep the numbers fairly, I suppose, low in a way of other types. So more specialist
Uh,
squads.
yeah, I mean the thing is, I've got like 20 Plague Marines in my
Hmm.
word bearers, and they were a nice change to do things.
Yes.
So I think it's kind of it's a nice kind of mix up that you can add these bits in, and I think especially with the Chaos kits coming up with a lot of my Legionnaires, that I have mixed in those bits that previously wouldn't be there. So there's some Plague Marine parts chucked in. There's a lot of Berserker parts chucked in now. And it's that thing where you can kind of go, yeah, I'm going to mix it up, keep it a little bit different, add a bit of character in. Like, I think, for instance, like Black Templars or Standard Marines, especially the Primaris stuff, is very standard, isn't
Oh
it? There's
yes.
nothing, like, except for the Black Templars, you have a little
The
cloak.
Templars, well, you get cloaks, you do get iconography, but it is. I tend to treat that more as I don't necessarily need to buy the standard Templar stuff. I can mix in and kind of mix and match squads, which is quite nice. So I think that works quite well from if you didn't necessarily want to go out and buy the specific kits for every single marine. You
Mhm.
can just have a tactical marine that is pretty straight up and down as
Yeah,
is with the color
it
scheme.
wouldn't even you wouldn't
No.
check, would you? You'd be like, oh, it's just a marine. It's not. You wouldn't go.
Yeah.
That's a really
Yeah.
boring looking marine because marines are quite standard
That's
in
their
their
thing.
appearance,
That's their
and
thing.
that's
Yeah,
it. You wouldn't
it is.
spice it
They have been designed to be a clean paint scheme, really. Unless
Yeah,
you're doing something like a Son of Rust or something like that. That's quick, because
Mhm.
obviously they have, but even they're clean and messy in a sharp kind of way. They're not. All their stuff has purpose on the models. It's like a fur cloak here and a wolf head here. But it's not like over. Actually, I say over top like chaos. Probably not quite the right wording. I think chaos obviously they have to show their corruption.
Yeah. It's a
That's
silhouette, isn't it?
yes,
It's a selling point
yes,
of chaos. Is they've got
ye-
horns on there and spikes. Essentially, that's
exactly.
the main
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the chaos. It's a different thing. Like chaos are a lot more
Mm,
individual. They're a lot more like fetishes and like armor's a bit more mutated, a bit more individual. So you got a
yes.
bit more kind of stuff there. But I think for loyalists, I think you're right. Space Wolves are probably
I think they're one of the
yeah
most adapted
detailed
ones. Yeah, and
or
yeah, you could possibly throw salamanders in there when they start putting in their the dragon skin stuff. That's a fair. But they're not
yeah.
then. But again, that's not a requirement to do that army. There's no real need to do that. Ultimately,
Mhm.
it is the color scheme. It's the color of the armor that dictates who they are and what they look like. It's and some weaponry as well. But I found a lot of marine armies now that I think the weapons are quite the same, really. Across the board. There's not really a huge difference in what you would necessarily take. You might change it to your playstyle, but that's more of a personal choice. But you could, I could run a Black Templar army in any of the different formats that they offer now, and it wouldn't make any difference. So that's the thing. Yeah. What else got here? So Jack says contrast makes Death Guard so much more approachable. Paint it a red pink color and glaze it with a contrast. Yeah, this is a fair point. I haven't tried contrast on my Death Guard because I went with quite a specific green and black scheme for the glooming glooming lords, gloaming lords. That one. One of the I think that was what they were. Um,
Gloomy, gloomy lords.
yeah. Well, it's because they were black and green. That was their thing. So that yeah.
Mm.
If they had 3 levels in the range, it would be ideal. Basic plague marines, medium, business chosen, very very busy possessed. Yeah. And then Jack says sloppy, slimy, squelchy fun. Well, yeah, we need to stick to the modelling and the 40k stuff, please, Jack. All right.
Yeah, reel it in, buddy. That's a bit much. It's a
Unbelievable.
family stream. We don't want that
Family
nonsense.
stream.
Thank you. But we've got a bar. It's not a very high bar, but try and
Yeah.
just keep above it if you can, Jack.
Just keep it. Yeah, keep it solid, please, mate. Yeah.
Family friendly, buddy. Family friendly. Unacceptable. I think you know someone, and this is what happens.
Yeah, and then yeah.
Yeah. So, have you done any hobby this week, Thomas?
Not really. Not this week. No, I mean, it's fair. It's only Tuesday.
Okay. Well, since the last stream.
Since the last stream, I got some of my list bits ready for the tournament at the end of November. Just checking through all that, but everything's pretty much on a good footing on that one. I was pondering about starting my Tyranids.
Oh.
But I hadn't quite. Yeah, I need to get them base coated. No, I had quite. If I tell you, I had quite a heavy work week last week because I did additional hours to make up some time for this week. So, I didn't quite. And also, don't forget, I had a half marathon the previous weekend, so I've been a little bit. I've been a bit preoccupied. So it's on my list to get back into some actual painting. See, I haven't done a lot of painting. Basically, that's the problem.
And that's a no.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
pretty much. Yeah, I've just done bits and pieces, nothing solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, the Tyranids could be quite a fun little project.
Yeah, they're all made, and also the other thing I was doing, I was getting obviously Jack started he started that little area in our thing, so I was writing up potentially going to write some bits up about my crusade, but also I was about to set myself a personal challenge for them. But I'll reveal that a bit later. I'm going to write up what I'm going to do because I've got a really silly plan as I usually do. I don't do things by halves when I start on something. So.
Have you thought of a paint scheme for your Tyranids?
No, I think that's kind of what's stopping me doing it because I'm deciding whether I want to do one of the I say preset, yeah, one of the already done ones, or if I want to
Current
try and
high
make one
points.
up, yeah. Because I do. The thing is, I quite like the schemes for the Tyranids already, so I don't necessarily see the need to potentially reinvent the wheel on them.
Yep.
Because it means I've got a set paint list I can buy, and I can follow some fairly probably well thought out guides for painting them. So and ultimately it's only a 500.4, so it shouldn't break the bank getting the bits for them that's required. They look cool. They do look cool. Yeah, I've got him and the leapers here now, so they're all done.
Leapers
Hello.
are very cool.
I do like them. They're very cool models. There's just something about them that they are pretty sweet. And I think as a little tester force to see if I want to do more of them, I think would be quite good. Because honestly, I wouldn't mind doing a Xeno based army just to break it up completely from my normal kind of stuff. Because I haven't done one like that since I did the orcs, and I kind of fell out of love with the orcs a little while ago, obviously because I sold my army, which was good because I think that was actually a good decision in the end because I haven't felt like I wanted to go back and start them again. So um, I'll stick with
Yeah.
that. I did also get I did order my I've got my is it the third year anniversary model?
Yep.
That's on
Yep.
the way, and that literally got shipped today.
Third. Is it a third?
Yeah, I think it is the third.
It was the Terminator, the Guardsman. It is free. Am I missing one?
No, I think it is three because don't forget there
Yeah.
wouldn't have been one in the very first year unless you bought up front, so you wouldn't have got that till the end because you got the assassin, didn't you? I think wasn't
Oh
it as
yeah.
well? The
Assassin.
assassin, yeah,
Assassin,
yeah,
Terminator, Guardsman,
yes.
and
And
in
now
this
we're on
version
the
there's
the
four.
next one, but this one's not available unless you've paid up front for the following year. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've
So
got that model. Yeah.
so I've got the I think it was the I think I ordered is it the guardsman I ordered. Let us check actually. 1 second,
It's
because I did.
4 years. 4 years.
I mean the one I've had shipped out. I mean yeah.
Did you get the Guardsman?
Oh, the Inquisitor model. That's the yeah. That's what. Let me check because when I ordered one, it was out of stock. I think.
Vicky has made some berserkers or painted
She
some.
has. She's been
Made
quite
some
busy.
berserkers.
She's
Yeah.
finally finishing off that Red Angel thing.
Oh, nice fix. Now that he's been nerfed, it's good that you're finishing that model. What we've got in the chat here. Blip, 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 blip. Rules lawyer. I think there should be better upgrades available for Space Marines. 40k and Heresy. More unique weapons and cloaks and tokens.
Is the Astra Militarum Unbroken? That's what I've got coming.
Yeah, it's a cool model.
Which is the
I haven't
year,
made my one
which is
yet.
the year 3 model.
Yeah, so we're on the year 4 one now,
Yes.
aren't we?
Yeah. You can't get
Yeah.
the fourth one unless you've paid up front there, if I remember correctly. I think
Yeah,
that's yeah.
I think they release it at the end anyway, so you can.
Oh yeah, no. I just normally do the subscription over the year and then get it at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't that's why I don't have that yet. So because as much as I I try to support the Games Workshop Warhammer Plus stuff, I think I'm really more get use out of the app rather than the TV part of it at the moment. So personally,
Fair enough.
um,
I just see it's one or the other. It's like one supporting the other, which way you
yeah,
look at it. I mean, it's basically you're paying for the app, but the TV stuff's there for free,
yes,
or you get the TV and the apps for free.
yeah.
Doesn't matter
That's
either way.
that's probably a better way of looking at it, to be honest, because I wouldn't. I definitely, and I think it might be in the same camp as a lot of people. I wouldn't buy it just for the TV stuff. I don't think there's enough regular content on that to make that worth
No,
the
it's a
cost.
little bit lackluster
Yes.
in the grand scheme of things. Like, there's a lot more streaming services you can get a decent quality out of than
We could get a
Warhammer.
YouTube Premium subscription and do that. It's just as good. You get a lot of good.
There you
There's
go.
a lot of good content on YouTube, to be fair. So,
Mm,
like us.
definitely. Yeah. Uh, so then we've got Rules Lawyer, Black Templars. Got it so good, but everything else is a bit poor. The Primaris for. Yeah, they're not they're not brilliant, are they? These Space Marine kits generally.
But then I think that's the aesthetic people go for when they buy them. I think that is
Mm,
actually how they're built as a purpose. They are supposed to be that clean cut. We're a military force, but we're not corrupted. We're very proper if you know what I mean. Yeah, they're
Yeah, but
yeah.
it'd still be nice, wouldn't it? Like if you look at Iron Hands, that you'd have that option to make your armor a bit more
Oh,
piercing,
I agree with the kits
or
for
bionic heads.
individual chapters. Yes, I think there should be a bit more
Yeah.
because obviously even the Black Templar kit, I think that's not as good as it used to be. They cut that down to 2 very small sprues, and
Mm.
really you know the old kit you used to be able to do a couple of squads out of it, whereas now you'd be lucky if you can do one a total, because they only really give you enough shoulder pads to do one, and weapon wise there's nowhere near as much choice. But then saying that, there isn't actually that many weapons that are available on the
The way it is now,
yeah
that loyalist Marines will end up kind of going, we just got these bolt rifles. Everyone's got a bolt rifle, except for the sergeant, who might have a bolt rifle anyway, who's got a pistol. Not like, for instance, Chaos have got all the weird upgrades and blah, 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 blah. Marines is very much, boom, this is your job. Hellblasters.
you
This is
have
all
a
we have.
pistol.
And you're like, that's it. That's cool. But I think it'd be nice still to mix them in. And I don't know how well it is.
I think that's just down to the way they've changed the game.
Display.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
weapon-wise, you keep the weapons the same, but aesthetically, you could add a bit more detail somewhere on the body if you wanted to. But it's personal preference, and I think if you're that way inclined and you wanted to add more stuff onto your models, you'll find a way.
Yes, of course. Inventiveness
hand
works
shape them
absolutely fine as well. You don't need to stick with the norm or the status quo, so to speak. You can mod them out. It's just it's an interesting and likewise, the other thing, if I want to break from that kind of stuff, I've got my Night Lords and I've got my Death Guard. So ultimately, I've been more tempted with the Night Lords to go towards a Heresy army rather than a Chaos army now, though.
40k army.
Yeah, because I think the way I've built them, I think there would be more fun to do that with them. In all seriousness, because there are a few units I probably couldn't use because they're a bit too, I suppose, corrupt.
Yeah, I think there's that balancing, isn't there?
Yeah, because you do. Yeah, I mean, I assume people probably wouldn't mind because it could be a late Heresy army where they've started to, fall a bit. I mean, Night Lords I think would be one of the ones you could probably. I mean, Rules Law, correct me if I'm wrong. Night Lords are probably ones you could probably get away with a bit more because they had certain. They're not the. I mean,
I think
they're all criminals anyway.
Yeah, I mean, by the siege, for instance, they had started to kind of go a bit mutated.
Exactly.
But also, I think you look at it and you kind of go, well, it's terror tactics, isn't it?
Yes.
So how do you make yourself look scarier? I'll add some
skin
on there, and then or skin or skulls or gargoyle ears or whatever. You've got it. So I think.
I mean, I suppose the irony of that is that they're trying to scare other space marines, which just doesn't work anyway.
They shall know no fear, Tom.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a really bizarre concept for terror tactics. It's like we're going to scare those other old marines.
Yeah.
What about the Titanicus game I bought? Yeah, that is still sitting behind me, Vicky, as you know. I think it. Well, to be fair, it's one of those ones. It's like I really wanted to try it, but at the same time, I just didn't. I just haven't done it. So
easily done though, isn't it?
Oh, of course it is. I mean, both you and me have bought stuff that we've kind of just
put on the sidelines.
Just a bit, I think Kill Team's a good example of that. We both bought the original Kill Team sets, I think, together, and we didn't really touch that until the more recent. We played a few games, and again, it's just sort of just disappeared very slowly.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to work out, like, if we didn't play tournaments for 40k, what the percentage would be between the game systems of, like, let's say Kill Team and 40k, because obviously when you're doing tournaments, it ups your percentage quite a lot, doesn't it? But in normal games, I don't know. I mean, obviously the majority would be 40k, but still with Kill Team, it would be still here somewhere. Because but once you do tournaments, it's like
it changes the way where you want to invest your time. I think that's the problem. Yeah, Vicky's just asking, are we still doing the Kill Team League? I mean,
look, I didn't want to bring this up, Tom, but we've got to have a conversation about Vicky. Is there any way, Tom? Is there any way you can block your wife from the channel? I'm just saying, she's a liability. And she's silence. Yeah, but all sorts of cool games we're playing at the moment, which is quite fun.
Just not Kill Team. Right, it's okay.
Yeah, it's all good stuff.
Well, so we're doing. I mean, we're doing a doubles game at the end of November. 750 points each. So it should be a slightly
I've got my
different.
army
Yeah,
now.
so have I. And we've gone with
Oh
something.
yeah, no, we changed
we've-
it the other day, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
it's a lot more fun.
it's gonna be so easy to carry as well. It's like we could take it in one box for both of us.
Easy. Yeah, take turns.
Andy Ashby says Kill Team Third Ed was very good, fellas. You need to try it. Well,
yeah,
I've got no problem with trying it. I suspect the repeat play is the bit where it might come unstuck.
yeah. I mean,
you've done it.
The problem is,
Okay.
I've got my kill team. I've already got a painted one.
Yeah.
I've got several kill teams that are not painted, which I'd quite like to get painted. I've got a Phobos Marine one somewhere, and I've got a Death Core one. I've got an Orc one, I think.
Commandos, yeah. And to be fair,
yeah.
I've got the Templar one. It's not difficult. You can take your normal models and convert them into them anyway. It's not exactly it's not exactly difficult because they use the same models. You know. Rules Life says I have not played 3rd E yet, but 1E and 2nd E in the original game. Mode 40k were great. The weird thing was I really enjoyed the first edition of Kill Team that we played when we had to print it out. You know, the one that was we played up at
the old school
games.
one.
That was quite fun. It had a very there was something about the specialist. Yeah, there you go. I've got that knocking about somewhere. I think I've still got my badge, Dom, actually somewhere. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
with our names on it. Those were the days.
Battle Brothers.
Yeah,
one.
got one of that. Yeah, I've got that still.
so,
I think a couple still in my car from when we probably drove back. I just haven't taken them out. They're just sitting in there. It's a nice little reminder. Like, I remember doing
this.
This
Is my Kill Team one.
Hey, yeah, that's
yeah.
There you go. So I did Grey Knights, and I think I can't remember what you did. What did you do?
I did Guard.
You did Guard,
yeah.
I did a Grey Knight army, and I modded up my 3 specialists. Vicky has said goodbye, by the way, so yeah, I think you won.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well done. No need to thank me, Tom. No need to thank me later. After the stream, there's no need to thank me immediately.
You know she's going to drive round in a minute.
Beat me up.
It'll just be a scream.
Yeah. I enjoyed Kill Team. I think it's a fun game. I'd like to do another multiplayer game.
Oh, the 4-player.
Because we did that 2nd edition one, and we did multiplayer one, and that was quite fun.
That was actually good fun. It kind of worked.
One, or a cooperative, you and me versus Swarm. That could be quite fun.
Yeah, that'd be good. Get someone to control the Swarm, and we try and survive like a Marine guard.
Well, I don't think you even have to. I think it's part of the game system, isn't it? That you actually the Swarm is just basically.
Oh yeah, they've got horde rules, haven't they? Yes, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you could chuck them in and see what happens. That could be quite fun. Yeah. So maybe give that a go. Finishing my Vespids, said Andy. That they look cool. They're very different.
I would say Vespids look pretty sweet actually. I think they're a good looking set of models. So nice.
What else we got here? There's a fan-made Heresy Kill Team. 2nd edition rules. Put the updating coming. That could be quite cool. I think we were saying last week on the stream that it's a nice way to expand your force, add a bit of character and narrative to it, that you can do things like combat patrols and kill teams, and then combine them all into a big game, a big army for 40k.
Yeah, I mean, you know. I know one of the things that we've always talked about is trying to do like a narrative-based campaign where we kind of have it culminate in the apocalypse game. But it's one of those. It talks a lot easier than it is to do, because the amount of time and effort that goes into them when you do that level of stuff, you know, it's quite a lot. But it's definitely something I want to try. I mean, ultimately, the chief problem I have at the moment is, as you can see behind me, the space. Is just I mean, honestly, guys, you see the little snapshot behind me on here. I mean, I've got so many models on this desk behind me. It is ridiculous because, I mean, I'm assuming most people know how. If you look at Dom's room, he's got a very nice dedicated space with lots of nice storage for putting his models up and behind him and things like that. Whereas Dom knows, for me, I have a hallway full of models on very old school shelving. And then I have about 4 billion plastic boxes around the house with full of terrain that we don't normally see the light of day with. So because it's just a lot of effort to get it. Actually, to my left here, on my side desk is made up of 4 large containers of terrain.
Ooh.
And I think, well, funny thing is though, there's terrain there I'd actually like to use, but it's a lot of effort to pull it all down, get it on the table, then put it all back in again. So some of the terrain I use gets recycled quite a bit because, you get your favorite bits out, and then that's kind of that's what you end up using. So, yeah, I was saying to Vicky the other day, I'm really looking forward to when we move and we can potentially look for something with some dedicated space for both of us for doing stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you just need a bigger third room, or a second room, or 4 rooms. Oh, Andy's just retracted one of his
he's
messages
retracted his statement.
now.
I don't know. Okay.
Oh dear, that's not going to be a good sign.
Andy, if you need another army, let me know. I'll see if I can hook you up.
He's got enough armies. He's got far too many armies for his own good.
Oh dear. But yeah. So yeah, that's the and I think the chief thing for me is that yes, I have this table up behind me, but I mean you've been around filming. It gets a bit warm. Is the other problem, because the streaming and stuff we do, it gets quite warm, and the space is not fantastic. I wouldn't say it's definitely not the smallest room we've played in. I don't think, but it's pretty tight because if I didn't have what I'm sitting in front of me in here, it would be much better. If I didn't have the computer and everything right next to me, because I like the size of your space, Dom. So.
Yeah, it's good.
It's because you've got enough to walk around the board, but also still have those side bits that you can sit in front of and do separate things in. Whereas if I roll this desk back even like a 30 centimeters, I'm hitting that thing behind me. It gets a little bit close.
Claustrophobic. Yeah, and that's the thing, really. You want a comfortable space. Like,
Yes.
it's one of those things just in life in general that I'm like, I like this space. It's really comfortable.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I'd be like, well, I want to get a bigger. I'd like to be able to do an apocalypse game in here. I've done one before. I think it's on the channel. It was against Blood Angels years ago, and that was a stretch. That was like boards up here, and it was like all the way across.
Well, it's probably before you had your display cabinets in as well, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't got room for
yeah.
that now. I would like there's certain things that I'm tempted to change. I'm probably going to change this light up here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice, but I was looking at one earlier, which is dimmable, and different types of light as well. And I was like, that's actually probably be more effective. And I think probably a little bit bigger, so you wouldn't have like a bit of dead space. So that's quite good. And then a couple of stools. Just get 2 more stools in here. So then when people are around, you've got
somewhere to sit.
You can have more people because you've got a bench, but as you're good gaming, you'll probably want to be sitting down a bit as well.
Yeah, because honestly, it's the one thing I love about obviously when you watch our pocket games. So that's actually done in mine and Vicky's current lounge, and that is a brilliant space for Apocalypse because we've got a nice big sofa to sit on while we're playing. It is a little tight, but to be fair, with the size of the game we're playing, you kind of forgive that a little bit because it's a big board. It's not like it's a small room. But I would love something kind of along. I mean, it's very unlikely, but something of that size would be fantastic as a room that we can set aside. But honestly, I'd have to fight for the lounge on that one, I think.
Yeah, you need a nice big space for a pot game, really.
Yeah, exactly. So, but maybe if we get a big enough garden, I'll build a nice like outdoor thing like you've got, Dom, so I can go out in the garden and just run a cable to it, though.
What is this cable you speak
of? I did hear a rumor you were getting some faster internet, though.
No, that's a vicious rumor spread by liars and
no.
called
I will admit, I almost fell out of my chair.
I know where that came from.
I know you do, mate.
I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I bet he's bloody told Tom already.
Oh no! So he's to say no. He was commenting on the efficiency of BT at the time. To be fair, so
okay.
Yeah, and how they didn't quite meet your expectations or whoever it was that was doing your stuff. So
EE,
EE, sorry, yeah.
What are they like? Anyway, what hobby is everyone doing tonight? We haven't actually asked the question to them. What hobby
Well,
are we all
I
doing?
know, but I
We're
think
not doing any hobby
everyone's
tonight.
enjoying us rambling now.
Doing a
That's
bit,
it. I think that's it. We're just rambling
bit
away.
of chit chat. Old chatteroo.
Because Andy was saying, he was just saying that he was displaying some of my old armies. Well, don't forget, you say your armies as in mine. They're yours now. Don't think of them as mine. They're all yours. I don't want a part of them anymore. From a collection point of view, you know, they've passed on to a better home because I know you will be playing them at least semi-regularly because you know me playing all my armies is bloody very unlikely on a regular basis, you know. The only thing I will say is that I have actually enjoyed recently concentrating quite heavily on my Templar gameplay. I think I've gotten better at playing them personally, just by
I think it
yeah.
does show, Tom. Because you just like, I think the problem is you play too many armies and you end up kind of going, is this for this army? Like, and you need
Yes.
time to kind of like master it a bit more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm far from mastering it, but you need time to kind of like get a bit more used to it and what the little finesses are. And yeah, but if you're constantly jumping from one to the other, it's like quite hard to get that focus and tune in a little bit more to it.
Well, because as you know, I played a very similar list about 3 or 4 times in a row. And I think actually by the time I got to playing the last time when I played one of our friends, Paul, I think I'd actually mastered pretty much all the fundamentals of that list now. It was actually starting to click. It was nice. I was actually thinking, oh, I shouldn't do that because this can do this, and I know this bit can do this, yeah, and this can react to this, and it was bits like that where you kind of start to think a bit more about how. And I think that only comes from playing the same. Admittedly, unfortunately, like well, at least the same core of a list. You know, I think as you saw in mine, there's room to sort of alter the fringe units a little bit to do certain different things. But I think, unfortunately, as we said with 40k and competitive style gaming, there's a certain core that you kind of have to take to make things function correctly. So you know, yeah.
Tom, here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
With that in mind, in a 2,000 point army, and this is to everyone in the chat as well, by the way, it's not just for Tom, so feel free to answer it. But with a 2,000 point army, what do you think would be your core points to spend, and how many points would you have to be flexible with?
So I'll tell you, I'll bring up what I've been running, and I'll give you. I do know if sort of my buzz want to.
Yeah. If you got an idea,
So
I would like my gut instinct would say I would have 1,500 points that I would be happy with running most of the time, and then 500 points that I'd be tempted to be trading in and out. Yeah. Maybe 600, but around that figure.
So if I'm looking at like stuff that I want to perform at a certain level, there's 200 points in characters that I would definitely take.
Yep.
There's no and what at least a nice thing is about one of those characters can be swapped for the other type of character, depends on how you're playing. You know, so it's basically Grimoldus or Helbrecht. I'll flip between the two. As you know, I've been running Grimoldus quite a bit recently, and a Judicar, because I think when you couple them with certain units, they're very good. And I've recently come around to the fact that I needed more battle line units, so I would say about 500 points in battle line units.
Okay.
A few small ones, and obviously I typically run that one large unit, which I think is fantastic. But I think adding in 500 points worth of battle line to give me the kind of the flexibility to put more units down is very good. And then basically this is where the kind of customization comes in. I think I need to take Sword Brethren to actually function correctly as a list.
Okay.
And I like to take between 15 and 20 of them.
Right.
So that if I took the full 20, that would be 300 points right there. So that's the 300 points of stuff that I have to take to make my list function properly as I want it to.
300 points.
Yeah. So it's 150 for 5. So
yeah.
It's obviously
in a very 300 points. Yeah. So for 10, it's 300.
Oh no, it's 300 points for 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Yeah, I thought you said 20 for 1 minute.
Oh, 20. Sorry, 20. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, I see.
So 600 points on Sword Brethren.
Yes, or take one down to a 5-man squad and one a 10 and a 5. So there's a bit of negotiation there, but I think I need to take the Sword Brethren to a certain level. And unfortunately, as much as I don't like it, there's 2 times
Gonna say
170 on the Lancers.
it.
No, but
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree, Tom. They're very good.
they're too good. They're too good for a competitive scene. They're too good not to actually put in your list. Um, and it's after those bits are in, that's when you start to have a few points to play with. So, as an example, I rotated out my Centurion Devastators, which I quite liked, but they're 185 points, and I had a Terminator Squad in there, which was 180 points. So I'd take those two, and that's where I would have the flexibility to play around with kind of different builds. I do like to have one dedicated transport as an impulsor in there as well, but that's kind of like, I wouldn't say that was fully necessary, but I think it helps a lot to get around the battlefield with one of the smaller squads. So so give or take, I think you're looking at maybe 350, 400 points to play with on stuff that I wouldn't necessarily have in that 2,000 point list. So yeah, I think you could argue between 400 and 500 points of kind of playing around with stuff outside of that core.
Yeah.
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 And I know you've probably got some similar stuff as well. I mean, like your World Eaters is probably Angron's like a must, and that's instantly a large portion of points.
Yeah, like after playing that tournament, I think I'd probably lose the Knights, but then also realistically, I don't have many units to replace them.
No,
so it's kind of like
because your
I like
World
the
Eaters
models.
are a bit
They're
a bit smaller,
yeah, they're a
aren't
bit
they?
sparse.
Yeah,
yeah. Compared to my Word Bearers, I can do pretty much any kind of build to a degree that I'd be.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of like your Templars. I've got a lot of room to kind of like experiment.
Exactly.
I go, oh, I'm going to try and do a gun list.
Yes.
Or a pure combat list, or deep striking, and blah 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 blah. So I can try all different things. My World Eaters, as always, it was going to be this list that I'm just like, I like the models. I just want to run this.
Yeah,
that's fun. Like I could probably trade one out and put Demon Prince in, or put some demons in.
Yeah.
I mean, generally, I'm kind of limited a little bit, and it's fine. If I expand the force, I'd probably add some Exalted 8-bound in. Or I've got that Predator I keep thinking about, because I'm like, no one takes a World Eater Predator. That could be quite fun. And a bit different to model and glue. Or my Defilers as well, which I've slowly been painting up on the side. I'm like, do a little bit on them.
Yeah, I like Defilers, but I think you don't see many of them about now, to be fair.
No, because it's cheaper units, and we talked about this quite a lot, that Games Workshop kind of push people in directions.
Yes.
And they're not selling Defilers anymore, but they'll sell some other stuff that Exalted 8-bound, and they'll go this way, not stay away.
I think ultimately World Eaters have probably got another tranche of units coming in at some point, which will probably have a War Engine-esque style feel to them, because obviously, if you think about the latest, they had a lot stripped off them from a vehicle point of view and a walker point of view, and I would like to see some pretty cool. I mean, I could easily see something like a Dreadnought style unit for World Eaters coming in, like
I think we will see the Blood Slaughterers come back.
Yeah.
The Forge World ones that they've taken off sale, because they were pretty much very uniquely sort of World Eater, and I think even now the aesthetics, like they could change the kit slightly, but you could pop back in and go, ooh, new unit.
I'd like to see a play on the 8-bound, but with a Hellbrute.
Yeah, a big boy Hellbrute.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Like something that's had the all 8-bound in a Hellbrute, or 16-bound.
That's what I was just thinking. 32-bound. Oh my gosh.
Is the Templar Empress champion Sigismund? Well, obviously in Heresy times, Sigismund's he's no longer with us, sadly. But yeah, the Emperor's Champion is basically the person who normally has a vision the night before a battle and takes the Black Sword up to fight during that battle. But unfortunately they changed that a bit in the latest rule, because obviously if you remember back in the day, Dom, there was actually a requirement when you went over a certain list size, you had to take an Emperor's Champion. But he's like, I would say he's like the embodiment of Sigmund, like that duelist who goes into petty. The whole purpose, it's kind of like having that going off and trying to take on the enemy's toughest champions.
I tell you what, I've got a question for you, Tom. Andy's just said, but in Warhawk, he's kind of like he's the Emperor's Champion there. He's kind of like giving the Black Sword and goes, go at it.
Yes.
When does a Emperor's champion, except for death, stop being the Emperor's champion.
Well,
Did they kind of go,
see, that's an
I'm
interesting
done now?
question. That's an interesting because I must admit, I've read quite a lot of lore on it and stuff like that, but I'm not actually too sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because obviously it's normally a cooling. They normally had to keep it all going while the fight's on, and then that's based. Yeah, that's it. And that's Ruleslight. He's a beast, the best non-prominent character. Yes, Ruleslight. I must admit, I think Dom will probably agree with me on this as well, even though he did hurt a very good friend of his and from the World Eaters several times. The bits where the Sigismund popped up in the last books of the Heresy were very cool because he literally epitomised the most honourable space marine, like, from a point of view going, you and me, let's go. That was basically his shtick. He was like, I'm out here to take on all of you. You don't know what you're getting into, because and ultimately that was one of his coolest things, and it was done through, wasn't like brute aggression or anything. That was like control, but in a very dual style and very, I mean, almost in a calm, in like a fighting duelist calm. He had that kind of ability to sort of just become so kind of hyper focused on it and wear the enemy down just through being very precise. I remember Angron's fight that Angron was just getting angry and angry and angry and angry, and he was just like,
Oh, do you mean the one with Khan though?
Khan, sorry, not Angron, Khan. Yes, sorry,
Yeah.
Khan. Yeah.
Yeah, no. The thing is, as a classic traitor, I'm very much against Sigismund, but you can't help in the Siege of Terrors like going, oh, he's so Gil.
Yeah,
like you kind of hope he's appearing as well. Like in some scenes, I think, like in one of the books where
the bottom of the mountain,
eaters, where they're basically running all these like refugees, and they come across like the Sons of Horus that are essentially just blocking the road, and they're like, here we go, let's kill some refugees, and it just pops out of nowhere. It's like, amazing.
Yeah, because that was at the bottom of the mountain, wasn't it? When they're going up to try and draw the dark. Yeah, he's very much like.
Well, let's just accept
there's not many of us.
Yeah.
And.
Yeah, he's a very cool character.
Yeah, he just and I think, and ultimately, he was also he's perfect person to lead the Black Templars because he was that, he had that character for initially to do that, and I think that was a really cool. It's definitely one of the cooler kind of threads in the Heresy. I think that is.
Absolutely, yeah. He's just this amazing character, and I don't think he gets enough credit. Like,
no, because I think he's always shown as like to be. He pops up now and then does some amazing things, and then he sort of just drifts into the background. And suddenly, bam, pops up again. Especially in those last books, he's like he's out there doing the word of the Emperor. But he's I would definitely this is one of the primary reasons I play Black Templars, because it was like Hell's Reach, not Hell's Reach, sorry. It was one of the models I saw first was the Sigismund's models as well, and it's just it was very inspiring because this guy's like a traditional kind of knight, because that's always my thing. I like the knightly orders and stuff. That's a pretty cool thing. What's to say? Dom turns and says, "Make them hurt" or something similar, and off he goes. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what he. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dawn turns. Sorry, yeah, Dawn, not Dom. Sorry.
No, I'll be like, I'll be like, take it down a notch, Sigismund. Okay, the word bearers are coming. Let's not do this.
Yeah. But it's also I loved his relationship with Dawn as well in the books, because obviously Dawn was very much like, stop it, what are you doing? Stop. And then by the end of it, he's very much like Anne says, look, he's like, well, all right, go on, you're my son. You just look, you clearly know what you're doing with that sword. But I did love that. I did also love the scene. Was it the Saturnine Gate when he engages Fulgrim?
Yeah.
And Dawn has to come and go, what are you doing? Like, I always imagine like Dawn comes up behind him, just sort of grabs him by the scruff of the neck and sort of holds him dangling. Stop it, go over it.
Yeah. That is a classic Scrappy Doo moment. Yeah. You're like,
But at the same time, he had the understanding to think that even though these the demon Primarchs were much more powerful, they could be provoked into making mistakes. And that's how I think he thought about it. Yeah, because Fulgrim was so prideful, he thought, nah, no way doing that. And then this little annoying person suddenly comes up and starts doing some fancy moves. He's thinking, shit.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah.
Oh, he means
But,
business. I better
yeah.
focus up. Because honestly, that's one of the key reasons that I think they lost that Siege of Terror anyway. Because the ones that were demonified, literally, I think Angron was probably the most effective one because at least he went towards the enemy and tried to kill them. The rest of them were all so busy having politicking and infighting and pissing each other off.
Like,
It was like,
think about it,
yeah,
it was all the demons, like
yeah,
except for Port Arabo, who
yeah.
essentially
Well,
was like,
he went, ooh,
I've had enough of this.
this is
Nonsense.
this is not happening.
I'm out of here. And after that, I was
Yeah,
like,
because he was the only person that actually wanted to organise the siege, and
Yeah.
he basically he left. So if you think about Fulgrim was too concerned with sort of just doing stuff for his own pleasures, basically, as per the Slanesh. Then you had Montarian, who was so caught up in his own malaise, he wasn't. It was and then obviously Magnus, who was trying to do all the psychic stuff in the background and trying to essentially, I wouldn't say.
I think Magnus he had his own agenda.
Yeah, that's the. It was.
And I think that's the thing. They all had their own agenda.
Exactly.
They
There was no focus force. And that's and ultimately, even though, and I think actually the biggest bit I think almost caused them to lose was when obviously all the Blood Angels went to bloody Black Rage. And when Sanguinius got topped. Yeah, that's really when I think I could have seen something horrible happening because it's like. These guys were friends, and they've just gone absolutely mental.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the last it's a grim place anyway. The whole Siege of Terror is very grim.
Yeah,
but
especially towards the end.
Oh, that is hard going. Like essentially, everyone's pretty much dead at this point.
And the world is basically splitting into difference between the Immaterium and the real world. And it's like crossing over, like doors go into different places. And Andy says, Siggy and Gavrilo can take a stroll around to it. Now there's a book. But Loken can't now. Sorry for the spoiler, everyone.
Yeah.
One of the most Loken was one of the most characters I felt the most sorry for, actually, quite frankly. I think he was probably the most honourable of all Space Marines, I think, as Gavril Loken, I think. Even at the end.
I've been listening to book reviews with Arbeiterian, and I can't think what her name is. I'll come to me in a minute. And basically, they just go through a lot of the Horus Heresy books, and it's really interesting listening to them because he kind of like sorry, I can't remember what the lady's name is, but she beforehand she knew nothing really about 40k or 30k, and more of like just science fiction in general, clearly well read and understands like science fiction, how it's meant to be written, and Arbeiterian is this like encyclopedia of knowledge where he's just able to name characters like and you're like, geez, right, okay, I'll struggle with the person that he's doing the reviews with. But it's so interesting to listen to them, and occasionally they'll get one of the authors on as well, and listening to the love they put behind these books. And you kind of forget how long the whole series is. It's like 7 books, which is insane, with like a dozen different authors, and it's just a masterpiece.
And the wonderful, who was the Toby Longworth, the friend of all audiobook listeners for the Heresy. Honestly, that man had the best voice for the entire series. It was actually one of those, when you listen to something, it's like he's such a comfort to listen to because he's got that. He just had the narration method that fitted it so well, and I'm so glad they got him for the whole series.
I was gonna say it wasn't just him though, was it? It was who else is it? Who's the narrator for the Siege? It's not Toby Longworth. It's
the one who cuts in now and then. You mean?
Hang on, let me have a look. Someone's gonna beat me to it anyway. It doesn't say there. Let's have a look.
I thought it was the same person.
Siege.
He's going to find it now.
Jonathan Keeble.
Oh, Jonathan Keeble. Yes.
He is amazing. If I could pay someone to keep saying the word boom, I would definitely pay him because it's literally, I'm sure the authors put it in there.
Oh, yes. No.
They're
Yeah.
going to get Keeble to say boom a lot. And they're
Yeah.
like, yes,
Yes, we are.
here we
We've
go.
already. He gets paid per boom.
Yeah, boom. Amazing. Yeah, I could listen to those books all day.
Yeah.
He's very good. Both of them are. There are some narrators on there. You're like, oh no, you just ruined it.
I think it does depend on. Yeah. You know. I think I'm glad they kept some consistency over the books, basically, for those books, because I think it made sense and it worked really well. So it's like I don't know if you've obviously heard the re-recording of the Lord of the Rings series with Andy Serkis.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, very good. Honestly, honestly, we all know he's a legend because he just does voices well, you know. But he's got a way of talking. I think there are some people that do audio so well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which is key. I think it's a mix between the narrator's ability and skill, and obviously the source material they're going.
Oh, the source material is well important. Yeah.
Yeah. I see. I'll kind of try and listen to a couple like historical audiobooks, and some of them, like, you know, they're great historians who've written them, but then you try and put a decent voice in there, and it's so dry. It's so hard to listen to. And I don't know. I think you could put an amazing talent there to read it, but if the source material is very factual, it's so hard to keep going.
So the guy who does, I'm just going to check who it is. Yeah, the guy who does Sharp's voice reading on books, Sharp's books. Mm-hmm. I think it's Rupert. Let's double check. Rupert Farley. He's pretty good as well, actually. I mean, obviously Sharp's pretty good anyway, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, exactly. You should get Sean Bean to do it.
Well, I'd be a bit one-dimensional. If you like listening to like a 6-hour long O2 advert.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, good point. Warhawk and Saturday Night, absolute edgy seat stuff. Yeah, Warhawk. Yeah, I need to listen to that again.
Warhawk was good. Saturnine Gate was definitely one of my favourites, and if I'm totally honest, I really loved the End of the Death, the first one and the last one. The middle one was a bit of a slog. That was more down to, as we were saying, the source material was the problem there. I think they should have done two books. They tried to make it 3, and I think making it 3 was the mistake. I think the pacing went well off. They should have just made each 1 and 2 slightly longer, and I think they would have been absolutely fine. It just I think as much as we all know what games are, they were trying to make small buck off it. And that's basically what it was about. They wanted to sell an extra book in the middle because it was the last of the thing. And I genuinely hope they do some Aftermath books, personally. I don't know if they've got any plans to, but it would...
They can do the scouring, aren't they?
Yeah, it would be a shame if they didn't, because it's like, especially at the end of it, it's like, here comes Gilliman.
Yeah,
done.
Yeah,
he's Gilliman. They'll cut. Gilliman saves the day.
Yeah. Done. He's worked it out. Everyone's safe. Happy days.
Because I want to see the confrontation between him and Dawn. When they try and do the Codex Astartes, I think that would be awesome. Stuff like that,
Some good stuff, really. Like, they've already established some bits. They've got the Iron Cage as well.
Yeah, that would be good.
With the Iron Warriors and Imperial Fists, and then they've got Alfarius or whoever it is, Amegon, getting killed by Gilliman.
Yeah.
Essentially. And then you've got Gilliman against Fulgrim and getting killed and blah blah. So there's so much cool stuff.
Yes.
That they could still do, but I don't know. I like a bit of a break.
Oh, I think it needed a couple of years. I think just to get stuff sort of settled back off again, because it was quite, especially the last 2 years, was very relentless on release. So I think everyone wanted a mini break from it, and then there we go. Well, anyway, I think that is a good point to end tonight.
Yes.
Everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's been a good solid hour as we
well
are
done, everybody.
Doing consistently at the moment. Not trying to do like 2 or 3 hours.
No, get tired.
Yeah, indeed. Little brain.
I need a nap. I like a nap.
Dom actually naps on his table behind him. He clears it off, just puts a sleeping bag on it, and then just goes to sleep. Yep. So
people perform minor operations on me. My line there. way up.
Or major, if you pay
Bone
enough.
saw.
You went from minor to a bone saw. I mean, that's quite.
Well, it depends on the level you're expecting for operate. Anyway, we're going in a
Yeah,
different route.
Anyway, guys, as usual, thank you very much for watching us all. I will put a quick link in for anyone who has not joined our Discord. There is a link to our waiting room there. If you click that link, if you have watched this for the first time tonight, please go in there, join in, have a little chat with the community. You just need to click there, and we'll bump you up to a member. Other than that, that's done for me tonight. Anything you would like to say before we leave, Dom? Or
I love you all.
there we go.
Thank you for being awesome.
Awesome. So, as usual, I have been Tom, and this has been
Dom.
And we are Black Toe Studios, and it's been a pleasure talking this evening, and we will speak to you all again soon. Fare thee well.
Doo-doo-doo. Bye bye.